Hey everyone, this is Rachel and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. If you hang out until after the video is through, there are always detailed shots of my current layout. Let's get going!
Hey everyone! So today I've got an interesting mix of products I'm working with. I have these photos, and in them, everyone in them is wearing cool colors, but the background in some of them have a lot of warm tones to them. We are in Mammoth Caves. This is back when I was in high school, so I'm not in any of those photos because I don't know about you when you were in high school, but I was not all that fond of having my photo taken. So these are photos I took. This was 1994, you can tell, because at this time I still made sure the date was on my photos because that was super cool to be able to do at the time. Uh, so I do have these two pieces of paper from Oasis. I'm going to be doing a double page layout today. And then I've got a mix of products from Oasis, the Open Road, which is an older collection from Crate Paper. Let's see, do we have a date on this? 2014. So yeah, that's a couple years back. I also have, in case I need it, this 6x6 paper pad from Journey, and this is 2014 as well. So we're gonna see what happens. The thing with the open road is obviously there are warmer colors and more reds and oranges and yellows, but there's a couple things in here like this pink and red rose that I think will work, the green relax, that type of thing. So it's going to be a mixed bag here. We'll see what we get. And all right, folks, let's get going.
A couple of fun facts about today's layout. First of all, this is a pretty long video and I even sped it up faster than I have been recently, but it's still over 16 minutes long, so apologize for that. Second of all, as I was starting to make this video, and right now I'm just trimming off the branding strip on what I'm using as my background pieces, I forgot that I had planned to make this video as part of my product placement series with Kelly Oblak. And as I'm making it right now, I still do not remember that I was going to use it as part of our product placement, for which this month we are using punches. So I'm merrily going along, putting my photos down, pulling out things to look at for embellishments, seeing what I've got. I bought these, you'll notice these open road embellishments were held together by some jute twine. I actually bought it at a scrapbooking tag sale at a scrapbooking store. I bought the three of them for like $5 and I never opened it because I only bought one piece of paper for the open road and then a foldable mini travel album, thinking I would do a mini album about a road trip. I never ever made it. And I've been on several road trips, but I just never ever used it for anything. So I just had that one sheet of paper, the mini album, and I didn't have anything else. And then I found these three packages of embellishments at, like I said, a scrapbooking tag sale and bought them and then never used them. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, look, if I make the mini album, I'll find other product to do it with. I'm going to go ahead and use it. So I went through the felt pennanty type things and I pulled a couple that I thought might work. I went through the layered stickers, pulled a couple I thought might work. Also went through the ephemera pack and pulled a couple I thought might work. There are a couple little stories I just want to tell about this. So I'm going to be journaling in multiple places. I also, from the Journey 6x6 paper pad, pulled out three pieces of paper to map the photos, and that's the one sheet of paper of Open Road I bought. I bought the little tags and everything. But I did pull three pieces of paper to map the photos with people in it. So I'm not going to map the photos with the stalactites. I am going to map the photos with my family. So, in case you've wondered, I still at this point have not remembered that I had planned to use punches for this to be as part of my series with Kelly Oblak. I will put a link to her video in the description box below. I'm sure she remembered that we're supposed to be using punches. Don't worry, at some point I do remember that we're supposed to be using punches, and actually, I really love the way it turned out, and I'm happy with the way it worked out. But still have zero idea that, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be using punches. So I wanted a way to bring that purple up, and that's why I'm trying to see what it is. And here's where it's dawning on me. Wait, isn't like when I turned it over and I saw these circles, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm supposed to be using punches for this layout. Hello? So I went and grabbed four different circle punches. I have a 1 inch, which is what I'm using right now, a 2 inch, a 1.5 inch, and then a little 1/2 inch one as well. And so I'm just out of this purple paper punching multiple sizes of them. So what I did was I went through and on the side that the ones that are turned over right now, you'll start to see those are full striped circles from the other side of that purple paper. So half of them I did where like you get a full circle, either with a white outline if it's the really large punch, or just stripy circles. The other side, the ones at the top of the page, that where you see like the circles off centered, those are the ones where I'm going to use the purple side. So what I'm doing is I'm just creating two stripes along the paper where the colors morph. So I'm going to do it from where it morphs from the light pink to the dark pink. And then as you see right now, I'm using the lighter colors when it morphs from the dark pink to the purple. So I'm just lining up my photo, so I'm not going to waste dots behind where my photos are. And I'm just doing it very loosey-goosey. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. I didn't really measure other than keeping it along that dark pink purple line. When I, so here's where so that's the color I'm going to use up there. So I, I'm going to work on the lower one first. I'm just getting everything all lined up. I'm liking the way it's looking mainly, and so now I'm going to start to glue it together. So first what I do is I glue any of them that are sitting on top of other ones, and then I'm going to take some washi tape and kind of washi tape them all together, then flip them over and add either liquid glue or ATG depending on the size of the section of cutout paper. Wow, that was not actual English. So here I am, I'm just trimming apart the piece that goes over the double page split. I have gone ahead and glued down all my dots. I'm just putting down, or I'm on the last one. I've glued down the rest of them. I am jumping ahead with this simply because it's super repetitive. And the video is still over 16 minutes long. All right, so I apparently had not pushed down on that first photo. There was glue on it, so who knows. So now I'm going to flip this upside down and I'm going to get to work on my upper level of circle punches. So at first I think I'm going to do all purple, and then I'm like, no, I don't really like that. And then I'm thinking, well, what if I flip over some of these and use the white? And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't really like that either. And I'm like, I don't really have any more full-size pieces of paper that are going to work with this. And then I'm like, oh, you know what you do have? You have the 6x6 paper from the Journey collection. Because here's where I'm like, no, this is not working. This is too much. So I pull out the remnants of the three pieces I had used for matting my photos. So the chevron piece, that tone, that pink on pink tone paper, and then the black and white iCat design. And I'm just going to use, once again, various sizes of my circle punches to cut out all different of those three. And then I'm also going to grab one more because I realize I don't actually have enough with those. I could have, obviously you see those little pieces of paper, I could have cut more really small ones, but I actually didn't want any more real small ones. I wanted some of the more medium sized ones, and obviously that paper was not large enough for those. So I'm pulling all the iCat ones over to, well, what is right now going to be the left hand side, but in actuality is the right hand side of my page, because that photo of the four family members um, was matted with that iCat, so I didn't want to pull that over on the far right hand side. So the fourth piece of paper is this pink and cream striped paper, and I like it. It matches the middle ombre-ish stripe color, and so that is going to make it so that I have enough circle punches to work all the way across my paper. I really, really liked the way this turned out. I thought it was fun. My one problem with doing double page layouts is I find they tend to be very square. So by adding all these circular elements to it, it helps my eye. And obviously, I am going to scrapbook for what I find appealing. You know, like in any other thing, you do what makes you happy. So for me, I need that roundness. I need that non-linearness to be part of my layouts. Now, it doesn't mean that randomly I will go ahead and just do a completely linear layout. I do sometimes. But for me, I oftentimes, like when I do a grid design, I often do an off-center grid, or I do a grid where I add things to um, link the gridded areas because that's what looks appealing to me. So, all right, that was a random tangent. I have some extra dots, so I figure I will put them in the upper left hand and then all the way over in the upper right hand corners and then make embellishment clusters there. I do skip ahead because I just went ahead and glued those down. And I really like the way that I especially really love the way the one in the upper left hand side turned out. I just think that looks awesome. I don't know why. It just does. So now I'm pulling out the embellishments I had pulled before, and in case you haven't noticed, what I'm trying to do is hide those electronic dates that are on my photos. Obviously I could have reprinted them and, gotten rid of those, but to be honest, I printed these as doubles in the first place, and I didn't need a third set of these going on. So I am just, you know, putting a piece of ephemera and or embellishment over each of those dates. I'm going to cover all of them up. Also from the Oasis line, I have these scripty words, and that is what I'm going to use for my title, which is going to be Fun Trip. And so I have those stitched pieces. I'm using the banners in the upper left and then those stitched circles in the upper right. I'm also using the open hearts from the scripty word from Oasis and using that as an embellishment as well. So I have that floral piece that's from the open road ephemera. And I added that, and I'm going to trim that off and actually use the rest of it somewhere else rather than just toss it. So I layer that layered rose with the opened and closed sign, and that's where part of my journaling is going to go, as it's part of a story I want to tell. And then I'm layering that circle in the center over there, partially to cover the date and partially just because I felt it needed something in the center there. I also have that large aqua flower over on the lower right hand side, and once again covering the date. Underneath the title, I added another journaling spot, and that's where like my main overview of journaling is going to go. So I'm writing about, we went here with these people, and I've got two fun stories that I still remember decades later. So one of the stories is going to go in the closed open journaling over there, and the other is actually going to go on something I haven't added to the layout. I'm going ahead and using my Scotch tacky glue to adhere those felt pennants. And here's where I'm adding my third journaling spot, the Let's Go tag. And uh, that's where the third part of my journaling is going to go. I'm trimming off that floral piece at the top, and then I'm going to add it in the lower right hand side. I'm just going to slip that under my photo, and that makes me much happier. And of course it's felt, so it soaks up the liquid glue, and I had to add a little bit more there along with that explore ephemera piece. So now I'm just looking at it, seeing what else I need to do, and I'm going to, okay, so here's where I pull out my Kindle because I had actually pre-written my journaling, and so I'm just basically copying it from my journaling. And as I said, on this one, I'm just talking about the fact that we went to Mammoth Caves as a part of a day trip when we were visiting my grandparents in Kentucky. And there are two stories that stick out to me even decades later, because like I said, this was 1994, so this is 18, 24 years later. Yeah, it is early. Math is not my strong suit. So I'm writing that in that journaling spot, and then I'm going to tell the two stories in the other two journaling spots. So you may have noticed I used that closed open ephemera pieces, and there's an actual reason. I was laughing as I found those in the open book. Uh, we did not realize that Mammoth Caves was in the part of Kentucky that was a completely different time zone from the rest of Kentucky. And my family are get there for opening type people. So we got there for opening, but opening was still an hour away. So in 1994, there's no electronic devices beyond, you know, maybe the Nintendo Game Boy. My brother might have had that, but I'm a book person and I always have books with me, even as especially as a teenager. So I was okay, but we had to sit in a parking lot for an hour waiting for that thing to open. And then the other one I did in the Let's Go tag was about the fact that for some reason I felt it was super important to take an entire roll of photos of the stalactites and stalagmites in the caves, like 30 photos of rocks. And when I got them back, of course, I was never a great photographer. When I got them back, it looked like I took 30 photos of the same rock. So I included 3 here, but I am laughing at myself. So those are the 2 stories I wanted to tell. I added some white enamel dots in each of the embellishment sections. And then I also remembered I wanted to look at the Oasis stickers. I add 1 blue and gold arrow, and then just a couple of little word and phrase stickers, and then that Let's Go black and white sticker in the upper right hand corner. All right, folks, I am almost done. I'm going to finish off by adding some Heidi Swap gold color shine because, hello, you always need gold color shine if you can. Thank you guys so much for joining me here. Make sure you go on over and check out Kelly's layout where she will have not forgotten what we were doing. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining me. If you could flick me a thumbs up, that would be great. Bye!